Hello! Welcome to a new podcast episode. Today I'm gonna share an update on my current whips. There's also one project that I want your opinion on, because I'm kind of on the fence on that one. If you're new here, my name is Merja. I live here in a forest in the middle of Sweden. This is my little escape from the busy lifestyle of city life and changing it to a busy countryside life instead. This is mainly a knitting channel, but I do also intend to share a bit more about gardening and anything that comes to mind pretty much. So just a little announcement before we continue with the video. 1 week ago we managed to become 1,000 subscribers on this channel. So I do want to thank everybody who is engaging in the videos that I make and who are sharing and commenting. Thank you so much for doing that. That means the world to me. I hope you can hear me because I'm sitting outside currently and there's so many birds around me. I don't have an extended microphone, so my camera is kind of picking up sounds from the whole surrounding. Like, my speaking voice isn't that high, so I'm trying to speak as loud as I can so the camera can pick up my voice. I do want to invest in a microphone later on, but I don't have the budget for that just yet. So bear with me for now. This is what I have, so yes, I hope that I can make the sound good for you guys, so it's bearable for you. I just want to quickly mention what I'm wearing. This is a self-drafted jumper that I knit. It's actually based on the Ashley Lilly's Fall Bluff pullover, and just like the Raglan Start. This is knitted in Drops Bomullin, and I used needles 3.5. So I got this pretty dense fabric, and it's very thick. It's meant to be like a summer garment, and I have worn this a few times, but it's very heavy, like the fabric, too dense and very thick. I think I tried on the actual needle size with this yarn, and then I realized that it's too like holey. Oh no, there's a car coming. I need to hide. So awkward. Like, I'm sitting here in a picnic blanket. I'm just so like socially awkward. Whew. That was, I don't know if that's a neighbor. I doubt it. Or like we have hunters in the area here. Yeah. Anyway, I was talking about this jumper. I think this is a DK weight yarn and you're meant to use like 4.5 or something, or 5 even for this. But I needed a jumper and I don't want it to be see-through, so I used a 3.5 to make it more dense on purpose. I thought I made it long enough, but like when I was wearing it, it was still very snug in the armpit. It still is. I took off a few rows here. It was like up to here before that, but it still has the like effect that it's like sliding upwards anyway. So it's like very tight around there, and I don't really like that. I want it to be a bit looser. Like, it fits perfectly, but it has kind of shrunk a little bit on the sleeves. But I don't know. I still like the length of it. It shows like the wrists in a elegant way. And yeah, I want to get more use out of it, so I decided to wear it today. Let me just hide quickly. So weird, like they go really fast, but then as soon as they got to the house, they were slowing down. Anyway, yes, let's get on with the video. So yeah, Ashley Lilly's Fall Bluff sweater is the like inspiration to it. So the jumper I want your advice on is the Rivendell pullover by Sari Nordlund, and it looks like this. The issue I have with this pattern is that I kinda want to add like different ribbing to it and then have like different sleeves, I'm kind of struggling a little bit on how I will actually do that to make it look thought out and not too busy. Like I want some details to it, but not too many. It's like so this has like a V-neck and cabled ribbing type of thing at the front, but then it also has like this, I think it's called moss stitch. I hope you can see in this lighting. Like it's moss stitch here in the, like on the rest of the jumper. The same cable pattern that you have on the front, it gets like on the top part of the sleeve. I was gonna leave that out and like make instead like a ribbing with this pattern. So I would do like I don't know what it's called, but like the same method when you do like I-cord, that you add like extra rows and then you knit like sideways. But now, as like I've been trying to figure out what I will do with this, I've kind of come to the conclusion that I don't really care for this color, for this pattern. Like, I don't know, it's a bit off for some reason, and like I feel like maybe I could just unravel it and make something else with this yarn. So the yarn is pear gynt, and I don't have enough of this yarn either. I have the Tynn pear gynt, and I was gonna use that yarn for making the sleeves, holding it double or single depending on the results, but I don't really know what to do with this, and I've kind of lost the interest to this a little bit. The idea why I want to make this one was that I want to make a V-neck jumper and like kind of understand the construction of it. And then while I was doing that, I also got like a nice textured jumper. And I also made like a few mistakes to it with like increases at the front. Like you can see here, it's not like a straight line. It kind of goes like wonky. I did the increases on this side, so I kind of grew like here instead, when they should have been growing here when you made the V. Yeah, so when I realized that, I continued. I didn't rip back the few rows, which I should have done. I was just like, because it was like in the middle of doing like these like cables and everything, so I was like, I can't just fix that with blocking, lazy as I am. So I continued, but I didn't realize that would make the whole line not straight. So like I can block this. Yeah, you can see that, but like if I block it straight out like this, or like attach it straight, maybe that fixes it. But like this jumper has kinda, I don't know, it's not giving me the joy I want to finish it. Like the yarn is amazing, like the yarn feels so nice, but like, I don't know, I don't know if I want to invest more time in it. What do you think? Do you think I should wait till fall and then continue on it, or should I just frog it? What do you think? What's your experience? Do you have like garments where you feel like disencouraged to continue knitting on them, and then like months after or even years after you pick up them again and you finish the garment and that turns out to be like your best garment ever? Has that happened to you? Or have you had the opposite way, that you ended up continuing on the jumper or item and then thought it was just a waste of time because you already had the feeling it's not going to turn out well? Can you help me on this? What would you have done here? And if you do have any thoughts on how I could modify this pattern, that could also be fun to hear. Yeah, I'm just not feeling this at the moment. But yeah, I'm curious to hear what you think about it. Yeah, so that was it. Rivendell cardigan or pullover by Sari Nordlund. A quick update on a pair of socks that I have been knitting on like forever. I think I casted this on with the idea that I was gonna finish them within a week. Was it Friday this last week? So it's Monday today. So Friday last week I finished the first sock. It had been on the needles, like the sock was finished, but it had been on the needles for just, you know, the stitching up the toes part for like 2 months. But yeah, I've casted it off, and here's the sock. I'm using Jerboa Raggi, the normal, the average size. They have like a mini, I think, like a smaller one, and then a more like thicker Raggi. But I really love the color of this yarn. It's like this green, mossy green, brownish green. And it creates this like interesting color pattern. I wish I kind of had made this like into a colorwork project instead, looking at the yarn, because now I'm getting this like it's a military sock type of color. Here it doesn't look like that. I get this like foresty feel to it, but now with this it's like, yeah, it looks like a military sock. But I guess it's depending on how you style it. But these are just meant to be like ordinary day-to-day socks, nothing fancy. And this is where I continued. And this is not any special pattern. I kind of understand the construction of a sock, so I casted on, was it 48 stitches for this one, and then just knitted like a normal vanilla sock. I'm using 2.25 if I'm not mistaken. No, 2.5. No, 3 millimeter needles. So 2.5 US, I think, and then 3 millimeter European, I guess. I don't know where do, like, is there like a different needle size for UK, or do they use, do you live in UK and do you use millimeter or do you use the US ones? Okay. Hiding time. I'm back. It's been an hour since I recorded. The cars that were driving by here were the forest companies that own the forests around us. There was like different types of forest owners. They were discussing where to like draw roads into like the forest to like get timber and so on. So I went to talk to them and they were fine. They were really great. Yeah, and we talked about what's gonna be happening in the area and so on. So scary as it was also good to have done that. I just get so nervous when people arrive unannounced, and like in the city I became that person who, like, you know, you get a heart attack almost when somebody rings the doorbell, when it's like a neighbor who wants to just ask something. And yeah, I don't know, it's just like this weird anxiety. And then after a while you kind of, when you're in your apartment and you have to do something, you have to like leave the apartment, you go outside, it's a struggle because you feel like there's so many people around you and you can't really relax. You have to be, you know, proper, or, you know, you have to be presentable, or in what, you know, people don't really care what you look like, but at the same time it's like if you go outside and you don't look a certain way, they might judge you. Or yeah, I don't know, it's just easier like here where I don't have any neighbors. I can just go outside exactly how I want. So when there's a car approaching, that's a bit like, I need to hide. It's not the best way to like practice that fear. it's not like, if you want to get rid of those feelings, the best way to do that is to just do the things you're afraid of doing, because then you're not afraid of that anymore. And like realizing that the things you are scared of doing aren't, that's, the worst thing that could happen in your head might not even happen at all, and you're scared of that happening. So you're just scaring yourself in vain. But anyway, I don't remember what I was... Yeah, this was the one I was... No, I was talking about the sock. Let's see. Yes. Maybe here you can see the colors better. So here's the sock that I made. And yeah, the idea is to make a sock. I haven't threaded it yet. But yeah, sometimes there's more other things that are also important in life, like gardening at the moment. I'm not going to talk about that just yet. I'm going to talk about this. But yeah, this is 48 stitches, cast on stitches, and then I just this is 2x2 ribbing for the cuff, and then just plain stockinette, and then here I did this type of heel, don't know what it's called, and then a stockinette again until I started to cast off for the toe, or knit two together for the toe and SSK and whatever. Yeah. So nothing fancy about that one. Then we have, you have seen this project in my other knitting podcast, but you also saw this briefly in my summer project plans. But yeah, we're getting pretty far with this right now. I had only 2 skeins of this when I started with it, so I bought 2 more skeins just in case. I know I only needed 1, but I wanted to be sure that I have enough for the sleeves. The thing is that in some lighting, like, I can see a slight difference on, like, one sec. Here's where I changed the yarn. So this is Drops Safran, and it's a fingering weight. Oh yeah, the pattern is a camisole by my favorite things knitwear. I think it's like number 4 or something. Yeah, but in some lighting you can see that there's like a different color to it. It's not that obvious, and I don't think you really see that when wearing. Maybe it shows more on the camera. But yeah, I don't mind it. It's nothing like major. Maybe it's a bit like this one is a bit more cool and this is a bit more warm. It's still like the same darkness to the color, or maybe not. I don't know. But I think I like it. It's still cool. And it's almost done. So that's gonna be nice. I'm not gonna talk that much about it today because I've already talked a lot about it, and I will obviously talk about it again when it's finished. I started on my second Favo sweater by Fiber Tales. I have knitted one before in Drops brushed alpaca silk, and then I combined that with Einband by Istex. But now this was actually casted on like over a month ago, and I have only knitted it for like 2 days or something. So my boyfriend had to go to a job interview in Stockholm, and I figured I might as well bring this along in the car. So I've been knitting on this on the trip to Stockholm, and then some when we have been at home. Let me just show you what it looks like. So currently there's not much to it, but it has this beautiful like gray combination. This is just something I wanted to make that I had like in my, like the yarn I had in my stash already. This is Jerboa, let's see, tvåtrådig ull, so 2-ply Swedish wool, this one. And then I have Drops alpacka, no sorry, Drops kid silk. So I bought this yarn to make a cloud bow pullover by Pom Pom magazine, but I didn't really care for this yarn, especially because I don't know if you can see, but like the silk is white here, and the mohair is gray, and I thought it was gonna be like all over gray. And when I started to knit on it, with like having this light yarn on that size needles, like that big needles, it's kind of hurting my hands for some reason. Yeah, I just put it aside and I use it like in some other projects, and yeah, then I kind of combined these two together and I got this beautiful combination. So I almost like, when I saw that I had these in my yarn or in my stash, and then I held them together like this, the whiteness of the silk mohair kind of disappeared. You can see it in some areas here, and it's not like the most flattering, but from long like distance you don't really see it, and I think that gives like the wool a bit of feathering. But yeah, this is my second Favo pullover, and I'm knitting size medium this time. I actually knitted the first one in size large, and that one does fit. This is still like an oversized cardigan. I think this time I'm using the requested needle size, but with a different yarn. So I'm hoping to get like something a bit more fitted, and this time I'm gonna make the jumper a bit longer than the pattern suggests, because the one that I knit is it's very wide but very like short. It's meant to be short, but like when I'm wearing it, like it ends up like here on my back. Like this is knit bottom up, so you do the front panel and then the back panel, and then you knit the sleeves also as like bottom up, and then you sew everything together at the end. But yes, so that's something I'm working on. It's not a summer project, but we're just playing around with the yarn we have. And so yes, this was the Favo sweater by Fiber Tales. I'm gonna show my finished object the last, because I do have a problem that I encountered. I've been wearing this daily since I knitted it, so it's starting to peel a little bit, mainly on the inside, which is not that visible, so I don't really mind that. However, I put it into a pile of garments that I was going to wash that are knitted and made of wool. So I just placed it like this and let it be there with the other knitted garments. And then eventually it was like warm like this outside, but then there was a few days that was like 10 degrees again and really cold at nights. So I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna need something for when I go to bed. Like I just need it for the night. And I think I was filming the morning after, like I was gonna film something. And then I noticed that, in like I wasn't wearing my glasses, so I didn't really see that well, but I was in front of the mirror and I noticed that there was like something on my chest, like it looked like I was maybe wearing it inside out, and there was like where I connected the yarns that was like poking out. When I looked at my chest, I was like, I noticed that there was a hole in it. I'm gonna show you what it looks like. It's a bit concerning to me. So like this is what I found. And the weirdest thing is, like I've worn it I've worn it a lot, but not that much that it would break. Like I might have left it on the floor And then, like, I don't know if my cat has been there, like she's sometimes like baking buns and things like that, that if she accidentally like pulled the thread or something. But then another thought that I got was, what if these were like a bug that eats wool? Because on certain places it looks like the yarn is thinner, but it's not like broken. I don't know if we have bugs that eat wool. I'm a bit concerned because I have so much wool, and we live in a really old house, and everything like it's made of wood, and they can't just go through the wood to get to inside. So there's no way I can really protect myself from it. From what I've heard, it's the larvae that eat the bugs, or eat the yarn, and not the adult bugs. But I don't know. But I'm gonna try to fix it because I still like this a lot, and I have yarn left from this. So I thought I was gonna see how I could fix it, and I'm gonna show you how I do that, because I haven't really had this issue before. But yes, I don't want to end this video on like a bad side or bad like vibe or like a more negative vibe, so I wanted to bring this situation up before I show you the finished project. And it's actually my Idle Hands cardigan by Winter Weather Knits. And just a warning, I have not sewn in my ends, and yes, I'm gonna show you what it looks like. Okay, so I'm back inside. My camera battery died. I had to go inside, so I'm charging it currently. This is Idle Hands cardigan by Winter's Weather Knits. And you can see I just love this color so much. It's so beautiful, and I love this pattern. It uses linen stitch, and this is what it looks like on one side, and the other side looks like this. It does create this beautiful woven textile, I would almost say. Like it doesn't roll up on the edges, and look at this corner here. It's like, oh, I just love like, it's so drapey, it's flowy. It's like drapey and flowy at the same time. Like, this garment is like, it has weight to it. It's like so nice. I think like this yarn combination would be classed as DK, I'm guessing. The pattern suggests needle size 6, sport weight, if I'm not mistaken. But I used 5.5. What I wanted to mention about the yarn here, this is the first time I've used Tynn silk mohair, I think. Tynn silk mohair contains wool, so I think it's actually a bit scratchier than like kid silk from Drops, for example, because that only contains mohair and silk. It is a bit scratchy, in my opinion. Like, this is a very soft yarn. This is not scratchy whatsoever, but this one has slightly scratchy feeling to it. So when it's knitted like this, like, I'm not sensitive to the scratchiness, but it does pop out a little bit here, in my opinion. So I would suggest I don't know if I can recommend the Sandnes Tynn silk, because first of all, it is quite pricey. There are similar, like, more ethical brands that creates Tynn silk, or like silk mohairs, that don't use wool. So I don't know why they, like, if adding the wool is a way to produce higher quantities of yarn but not using the same materials, and they kind of live off on their brand name, or if there's like an actual, like, because it's still like marketed as a mohair. So like in that case, it doesn't really, it has its own like quality than the rest that are just silk and mohair. I don't know exactly, but yeah, I just think this is not the softest yarn to use. It's a very popular yarn, but yeah, I'm gonna use up. I have a few more. I have this in like another color in my stash, so I will of course use that one. I'm not that sensitive to scratchiness, but if I do want to make a garment that is like really soft towards the skin, then I'm not gonna be using this one. This is more for like the rustic type of vibes, I guess. But I do like that on this one, compared to the Drops Kid Silk, you can't really see the silk strand. It's not white, but it's lighter than the mohair. But I guess silk is more difficult to dye than the mohair is. So maybe that's why it's happening. If you have thought about this yarn for something, for a project, and you're wondering about the feel of it, you have only maybe seen it online, I highly suggest this yarn. It's like, if you look close, you can see it's a bit like heathered. There's different shades of green in there. However, I'm gonna ask if you can spot something on this yarn and say if you can see it. It's pretty hard to miss, right? Yeah, here. This yarn is not sold as a tweed yarn, but it does have these tweedy bits in there. So I was a bit confused if they were meant to be there, because you can just pick them out like without any effort. And if these are just residue from like the production, like, I think it's nice, but like the tweedy bits are like so irregular, they don't happen that often, so it just feels like, is this like a fault from production, or is it meant to be like a semi-tweedy yarn? Because there's certain sections where I didn't take out those bits. There were like, on this specific color, there were tweedy bits of blue and yellow. Try to take them out as much as I could. Sometimes I left them in because I thought that added character to the jumper or the cardigan. What I didn't really care for was when there was like blue ones that were really easy to spot. Yeah, here's a blue one. Like, it's not like a tweedy look to this yarn at all. It's just heathered, because this yarn is a little bit pricier than, it's not the priciest yarn I've used, but it's not the cheapest one either. I don't know. Like, I like the heathering to it. I really love that. I was just a bit confused if it's meant to be a tweed yarn. But yeah, I still highly recommend this yarn. It wasn't annoying or anything like that to take out the yarn, like, or those pieces, you can keep them in there or you take them out. But really soft, and this is like the softest yarn I've ever felt. I think. Yeah, it's soft and squishy, beautiful drape, as you can see, and yeah, such a great yarn. Yeah, I have a few skeins left of both these ones, so there's enough for me to knit up pockets. So if I'm doing that, I will show you in another episode. This is considered finished. I haven't blocked it, I haven't sewn in, I haven't weaved in the ends, so it's pretty much done. I haven't worn it because, yeah, I needed to weave in the ends. I do want to block it because I think the sleeves are slightly shorter. Oh yeah, I can also mention that I made it longer than the pattern suggests for size 2. And I also made the sleeves longer than the pattern suggests. However, I wished that I knitted more stitches here. For my size, this is meant to be 16 centimeters, which it is, if not more. I was expecting that when you continue knitting on the sleeve, that when it hangs down, it would magically somehow like hang a bit more, if the fabric allows that. Because when you look at the photos, like, her sleeves are pretty long. But then if you look at the projects on Ravelry, you can see that a lot of the sleeves are actually shorter. They end up like a t-shirt. So I'm kind of confused, like, because the pattern doesn't say that there's like 2 different sizes for the sleeves. But I still like it. That was everything I had for today. I've been so busy with the garden ever since the heat heat came. Right now, I'm still so grateful for having the sun here currently. But that does put an extra push towards the gardening. I need to like keep up with watering. I have planted so many vegetables. I have nowhere to put them, like, unless I dig new garden beds, buy more soil, which I can't afford at the moment. So yeah, it's a little bit of a struggle, and I've lost a few plants also because they've overgrown in their pots, or I haven't been enough with watering. But yesterday at least we planted out our tomatoes. I have started to dig a few flower beds also, and I have asked my boyfriend Philip to build me like raised flower beds also out of wood. So he's made like frames for them, and now we just need to kind of decide where we want to have them. And with this overwhelmed feeling, I've joined like a gardening community online. They are actually, it's like two people who are holding this. It's not like, it's almost like a course, but it's more about lectures and like a community, and you can get guides and drawings on how you could do your own like gardening, and you can ask about certain things. So I'm trying to catch up with like gardening designing and how to like draw your own like sketches for like different plants and ideas, and like where to start, and all those like things. So now when I've started to get all this like new information on how to like design a garden, I'm kind of like torn about all these projects that I want to make now, and I'm not going to be able to do any of that until next year, and I can't really plant things where I was thinking planting them because now I have a different plan. So yeah, it's a mess in my head currently, but yeah, I'm sure it's gonna work out fine in the end. It always does. So yeah, this was it. I'm so glad you have watched all the way here. And yeah, share in the comments what you have been working on this spring. And again, thank you so much for everybody who has subscribed to this channel. And I'm so happy, and it's so fun that you're reaching out. And if you want to find me on like my other channels, you can find me on Ravelry with the same name, Anything by Merja, and also on Instagram with the same name, Anything by Merja. I hope you guys are doing well. I wish you all the best. I hope you have had a great spring so far, and that you will have a great spring and summer. Also, I'm sure we will be seeing each other again very soon. Yeah, happy knitting, and enjoy whatever time you are in currently, and try to like enjoy the little things in life also. And don't stress too much. Things will always work out in the end. So yeah, with those words, I'm leaving you for today. So take care, and see you in the next one.